Touted as one of the most beautiful ancient cities in Southeast Asia, Hoi An has captured the imagination of many travelers. Famed for its unique architecture and well-preserved relics, the old town was named the World UNESCO Heritage Site in 1999. Today, Hoi An is known for its vibrant streets, colorful buildings, and flavorful cuisine. Some have nicknamed it as the banh mi capital of Vietnam. Others have raved about the local dishes like khao lao and mi quan. Lonely Planet described it as Vietnam's most atmospheric and delightful town, where the 21st century curses of traffic and pollution are almost entirely absent. All the stellar reviews of the city piqued my interest but also attracted my skepticism. Is Hoi An truly a historical wonder or more of a tourist trap? Let's find out together. After a long day of travel, we arrived in Hoi An at nightfall. The ancient city was brimming with energy and abuzz with activity. Vendors selling street food, souvenirs, and other curios were setting up shop and getting ready to welcome patrons. As the sky darkened, it became clear why Hoi An is nicknamed as Vietnam's City of Light. Thousands of silk lanterns illuminated the alleyways, and innumerable paper lanterns dotted the river with beautiful specks of light. As we strolled along the water, we were touted for boat rides and had menus shoved at us from every direction. The solicitors were aggressive, but it is understandable as dozens of similar boat operators and food vendors were vying for business. Hoi An at night is mesmerizing without a doubt, but daylight unveiled a different facet of the town. After a good night of rest, we retraced our steps to the old quarter bright and early the next morning. We were excited to take in the beautiful architecture and enrich our knowledge by visiting the museums. But with morning light came a rude awakening. As we entered Old Town, we were greeted by a shocking amount of litter lining the river shore. Trash of every conceivable nature can be found floating in the water, giving the river a murky tint. The paper lantern that looked so beguiling the previous night formed piles of litter along the riverbank. It was a shocking sight, and we felt a certain pang of guilt. As we wandered into the old town, we were amazed by the beautiful architecture. Every old house had its own unique characteristics, and we saw some really remarkable architectural marvels. By acquiring a ticket to the old town, you can explore the numerous heritage buildings and museums, and also contribute to the preservation and maintenance of the site. Each ticket grants you admission to 5 sightseeing places, which is sufficient to keep you busy for the better part of the day. My personal favorites were the Museum of Folklore, the Fujianese Assembly Hall, and the old houses. The famous Japanese covered bridge is also worth a visit. Hoi An day and night feels like 2 entirely different cities. During the day, the old town has a more laid-back vibe, with mostly independent travelers frequenting the sites rather than tour groups. Since motorized vehicles are largely prohibited from circulating in the old town, you can cycle through the city at a leisurely pace. You don't have any trouble crossing the streets, and you won't run the risk of getting crushed by a moped. I will also really recommend you explore the perimeters of the island on a bike. Cycling through the residential roads were probably one of my favorite activities and one of the most memorable highlights of our trip. You will definitely encounter a chicken or two along the way and maybe even witness the cattle grazing by the water. This will allow you to escape the brouhaha of the crowds and get a glimpse of yet another side of Hoi An. Overall, I believe that Hoi An lived up to my expectations. The increase in tourism has definitely reshaped the town for better or for worse, but somewhere in the flurry of silk lanterns, rice hats, and exotic photo ops, the city manages to retain its splendor and authentic charm. However, I truly wish that the local officials could implement some measures to clean up the waterway and protect the environment from the pollution brought by over-tourism. The magic of the city needs to be preserved for future generations, and I truly hope that a significant effort will be put in place to protect it. Travel guides and blogs often overhype or project an idealized image of destinations, but I hope that this video gave you some insights and truthful information about Hoi An. If you're planning a visit to the city in the near future, please leave me a comment down below telling me what you look forward to seeing the most. I am curious about what piqued your interest. So that is all for today's video. Thank you for watching, and as per always, I'll see you guys next week.